At the time that Barry was tattooing, it was pre-AIDS, so tattooists didn't wear gloves then. It was only when AIDS became a big thing in the papers and stuff, tattooists started wearing gloves. Apparently they asked Barry about cross-contamination stuff because I think the health service didn't really know about it, which is quite weird because he's just tattooing barehanded with a cigar hanging out his mouth in that picture. Well, I took it over in 2016, but I first worked here in like maybe 1998 or something, 97, 98, something like that.
Okay.
It was the first shop that I worked at full time, so yeah. What was he like? Well, he was quite funny. He was very funny. He could be quite moody. He was a heavy drinker. And yeah, depending on what stage of drunkenness he was, he'd go through like a very cheery to quite morose, people, like everybody really, moody. But yeah, he was generally a friendly guy, and he was quite humorous. He could tell a story very well.
Another tattooist who prefers working in the more traditional style is Barry Louvaine.
There's an old saying in the tattoo trade, tattooing is done by the uneducated to the uneducated.
The most common tattoo I think I do at the moment is patriotic sort of designs, British Bulldogs, old Union Jacks, rows of Englands with Union Jacks around them, that sort of thing.
When I started working here, he was barely tattooing anymore. He kind of got the younger artists in to do the work. So I was working here with an Italian guy and another girl, and he lived here as well. So the shop was only the front, it wasn't the back, it was a much smaller shop. So yeah, he would clean the floor in the morning, have a cup of tea, and at 11 o'clock when the pub opened, he would go to the pub and leave us to it. Yeah, sometimes, like, he never took appointments, Barry, he just did walk-in only. People knew he opened at 11, so they would come down at 11 to get first place in the queue or whatever. And if I was late, he would just lock the shop up with a queue of people standing outside and go to the pub. And then I'd come in and be like, oh my God, there's a queue of people standing outside. Yeah, it wasn't uncommon for people to come in and be like, oh, there's going to be like 4 or 5 hours waiting before I get seen. And there was no toilet in here. So people would wait and just be like, oh my God, I don't want to go to the toilet, otherwise I'm going to lose my space in the queue or something like this.
Is this your first tattoo?
No, I've got 3 or 4 of the small ones, but I've never had like 4 days worth of tattoos before.
Why did you choose here to get them done?
I found it online. I think it was Facebook. I was just looking for places in the area around where I live. I live like southwest.
Yeah.
And this one, I don't know, it just looked cool. I was reading about the history of it on the website, about how Barry used to run it, and apparently it was always in the pub. And Ellie had worked here and carried it on, so I just dropped a message on Facebook, and then they replied, and I came into the shop and then chatted to do, so it seemed pretty cool, so I booked today.
I think he had a lot of kind of very local He did a lot of like football tattoos, Chelsea tattoos, stuff like that. So yeah, he had a lot of kind of working class men demographic was the mainstay of the shop, and now it's much more varied. So there's a lot of different people get tattoos now. So you get some old women come in like wanting maybe their dead husband or something, and they're like in their 70s getting their first tattoo. We get a lot of people whose family members have got tattoos here a long time ago, and now we're in the second, third generation of that family. So there's a lot more sort of yummy mummy types coming in that didn't used to. Yeah, and a lot of different nationalities as well. I think like when Barry tattooed, it would have been predominantly white, like quite very strongly predominantly white, I'd say.
The day that I invent a tattoo that doesn't hurt to put on and that can be removed at any time is the day that I'll go out of business. You might as well buy a t-shirt with a love art on the front of it saying I love my mum. It didn't hurt you to put it on and it won't hurt you to take it off.